Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the tier list. I am Mangan, joined today by Collins.
How you doing, folks?
Neil.
Hello.
And Patrick.
Hello.
And today, coinciding with the return of the Premier League, we are going to be doing a tier list of Premier League strikers. First of all, guys, though, how is everyone? Looking forward to it coming back?
I am, yeah.
I can't wait, to be honest with you. It's Friday now, so we've already seen a couple of matches. We saw David Luiz disaster class, and it's like it's never left, really.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't looking forward to it, but then it came back and I was like, you know what? I'm back into it now.
Has anyone been watching it in silence?
Nah.
The crowd noise? Nah, mate. Crowd noise only.
Oh, my God. It's so bad. You know, every so often you can hit... Like, I was watching the League 2 playoffs yesterday because nothing else was on. And all you can hear was the man just swearing out the lungs. Every 2 seconds, the commentators were going, "Oh, we apologise for the language."
I like that, though. It brings it back to Sunday League a bit, you know, a bit more authentic.
Your Sunday League was much different than mine. Hang on. Wasn't your dad the manager of your Sunday League team?
Yeah, no, he wasn't doing the swearing. But, you know, the other team managers, you know, some of them were a bit nutters, you know.
I mean, look, at the end of the day, as an Everton fan, season should be voided.
Oh, yeah. I love it. I love the null and voiders. It's great.
No, never.
I don't know. You guys could collapse.
Well, you know, we are Liverpool.
Yeah, I think that would even be a bit too much for us, I think, to collapse from this.
Right.
I saw banners today saying Liverpool 2019-2020 Premier League champions. And I did cringe a bit. Even though we kind of are, it's still like, you know, calm down.
Well, it's not the same, is it, really? You know, obviously, coronavirus has taken a massive toll on the season, so everyone's going to say it's marred by that. But let's be honest, if coronavirus didn't happen, it'd be the year that was marred by the Australian wildfires, so they can't really speak.
Well, you know what? I'm just happy it's getting finished at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great thing, you know. It's a win for sport in general, really.
I don't think the season was going to end because of the Australian wildfires.
That's the joke. Jesus.
Get on with the tier list.
Yeah, and let's be honest, let's start right at the top. So, Liverpool, we have chosen the one, the only, the Samba boy himself, Roberto Firmino.
Well, we even explained that this is all strikers.
Yeah.
This is all basically the sort of main striker for each Premier League club. So not every striker in the Premier League, but the main ones for each club.
20 teams, 20 players, 5 tiers.
Good.
Right, let's get straight into it.
Yeah, Bobby Firmino.
We're going with Firmino first.
Yeah.
Well, Mangan already introduced him. So.
Fair enough. What do you think of Firmino then, Mangan?
Right. This is because obviously I am a diehard Liverpool fan. So obviously you'd probably expect me to be like, oh, he's world class. He's one of the greatest players in the Premier League right now. And we're looking at strikers here, and he doesn't score enough to be like the world class, the top tier.
Yeah, that's the debate here. It's not whether he's world class or not. It's whether he's a world class striker. It's like, you know, he's a world class footballer, but is he a world class striker? That's the debate here.
It is a tough one because, like, you see him in games and he turns them on the heads. But I mean, look at his form this year. He has not scored at Anfield yet all season.
But is it just the job of the striker to score goals? Does it matter if other people are scoring goals around him?
Well, I think, it's a tough one. I see Firmino obviously more like a centre forward because he does create as well as score. Like, striker, you think out and out goal scorer. Like, anyone else agree with me on that one?
I think pass it over to the Everton fans for an unbiased opinion.
Yes, that sounds like a strong decision to do. And I'll simply say, in 166 games, he scored 56 goals for you. That's not a good enough return.
How many goals has he given to Salah and Mane? That's the thing.
It's worth noting, like, although Firmino has the highest number of assists of all the strikers on this list this season with 7, he's actually missed the most big chances of any player in the Premier League too. So that very much illustrates a player who's mixed in his quality, right? It indicates a player who perhaps doesn't have the greatest of finishing abilities, but can also still bring other players into the team. And the way it works for Liverpool, it's obviously been so successful. You're moving away from a traditional striker towards a player with a more all-round game. And it's clearly benefited the team as a whole, which is very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at Firmino is like, how many players are like him in football right now?
I think
very few.
Yeah, he is one of a kind in the sense of his goal scoring and his creative play. Because one thing that springs to mind when I think of Firmino is his match against Newcastle at the start of the year when we were getting battered by him. We were getting beat 1-0. And he got subbed on in like the 35th minute because of an injury to Origi, and the game turned on its head because of him.
I mean, he doesn't score the goals himself, but he makes us score the goals. So it's kind of like he is scoring the goals in a way, but
no, it's not.
Well, I don't know. It depends how you want to judge it. I mean, I think without a doubt, world-class footballer, but it's whether you want to put him world-class striker.
I think he belongs in first team regular, personally. Because at the end of the day, we are looking at strikers, and I see him more as a centre forward. He doesn't score enough to be a striker, but he creates so much.
I'll give you an interesting thing. Would you say like Firmino's main quality is his assists?
I would kind of more his movement than his hold up play.
I think he's one of those guys who is unpredictable in a sense. You think Salah and Mane, and they're quite predictable. They'll use their pace to try and beat the player. I think with Firmino, you don't know what you're going to get.
An interesting player who is also on this list, and we'll discuss later, is Raul Jimenez of Wolves, who has one less assist than Firmino, but 5 more goals.
Yeah, that is it. But it's
not to be fair, that is interesting. But
yeah, that is. And it's clear why Jimenez has been linked to Liverpool, if that's the case, recently.
Yeah, so, I think they're not completely dissimilar.
It's so, like, Jimenez, not wanting to go too deeply into the discussion now, but he is, a player that many would consider quite lethal. Do you look at Firmino and think he's lethal?
No.
Not this season, no.
I don't think he's lethal he's been lethal.
Never been lethal.
It could also be worth considering his qualities, of course, as a pressing player as part of the system. A player who ultimately can end up all over the pitch in that defensive stance, putting pressure on people. That's something, of course, a lot of strikers don't have in their locker.
You say that, but it's become more and more common for you to have that pressing capability with you.
That's true, but also having the qualities around that, like, for example, you could look at a player like Dennis Strakwalersi, who was a good presser, and then think they have no other redeeming characteristics.
There's a reference I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Strakwalersi did score a banger against Chelsea.
A bang.
But, like, Firmino, he is one of those players who you never know what you're going to get. You could get like a really bland game where he has a couple of chances, he misses them, he doesn't really create much. And then you can look at his hat-trick against Arsenal last year where he tore people apart. And he is a bit inconsistent on that front. That is one thing about him.
Well, I think we should put him somewhere. We've talked about him enough. Let's put him somewhere. Let's settle this.
We've all said first team regular.
Well, you two have.
I agree.
So is Mangan.
I agree.
That's what I said, you two. But yeah, I agree. As a striker, if we were doing it just as a player, I'd put him world class. But as a striker,
he's clearly a tier below the best of the best footballers.
No, you're wrong.
It's like, utility players throughout history. I don't know if utility player is quite the right word, but a player who can just fit into a system and do a job. They never tend to get the plaudits that the players who score the most goals do, although they are essential for their team.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Do you see Firmino as the same level as player as Mane and Salah? Because they're world class.
I mean, that's
I kind of do. They wouldn't be what they were without him, or what they are. They wouldn't be what they are without him. They wouldn't be able to score as many goals as they do without him.
Yeah, okay, they'd score more goals if they had Lewandowski in front of them.
Well, that's a different debate.
But
so I disagree.
What you're saying, right? So you're saying he's world class because he makes Mane and Salah better. But if you put a better striker in front, in ahead of Firmino, Salah and Mane would be even better, and you'd get the goals to Lewandowski using him as an example.
No, there's many reasons why I think he's a world-class footballer. He's technically brilliant. His movement, his pressing, he's brilliant. But as we're saying, as a striker, I'm happy to put him first team regular because he just doesn't score enough goals.
It's ultimately difficult to place a player who kind of defies the normal categorization, I suppose.
Yeah, it really is. That's why I guess that's why we talk so much about him. But I mean, ultimately, zero home goals this season?
Yeah, it's not good.
You can't put him any higher than first team regular, but you can't put him any lower either because he is what he is. Simple as. I think we should move on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this will be the Firmino podcast.
However, we are talking about goals and Aguero. No, that's who we're on to next. Firmino doesn't score enough goals. Aguero gets too much. He is one of the best strikers the Premier League has ever seen.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, and he doesn't get the credit he deserves because he gets injured a lot and he rarely gets to have a full season.
254 goals in his City career. He has scored the most hat-tricks out of any player in Premier League history. He is, without a doubt, one of the best.
Where would you rank him, in the world of strikers?
In the world, he's in top 10, definitely, if not top 5, because he is that good. And let's be honest, he created probably the most iconic moment in Premier League history against QPR.
No, the most iconic, for sure.
Could I drop a remarkable statistic on you?
Go on.
Please.
Aguero's XG, his expected goals per game, over the course of his recent Premier League career is 0.99. That indicates that when Sergio Aguero is on a football pitch, you expect him to score a goal every game.
Right,
that's incredible.
That's ridiculous.
And he's got 16 goals and 17 starts this season.
And that's the thing, he doesn't really start because he's also battling out with Jesus, who himself is a great player.
Yeah, exactly. But he doesn't get the credit he deserves because of the injuries he has. That there was a stat like team of the year. He's never been it or something like that, or he's never won Players Player of the Year or something like that. PFA Player of the Year.
That is ridiculous.
Something like that.
But he's just a goal scorer through and through. He can score anything. He can score a screamer. He can score a 2-yard tapping. You just know when he's on, he's going to be a threat.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. It's world class. It's probably the best of the bunch that we've got.
I reckon he's out of this list. He is probably the best in my opinion.
Yeah,
there's no doubt.
You're talking about skill, finishing, pace. He's got it all.
All right, let's be honest. As football fans ourselves, if we were playing Man City and Aguero was on the bench, you'd feel a bit more relaxed, wouldn't you?
Oh, certainly.
And then,
but it'd be 0-0 after 70 minutes if you're lucky, and then he gets subbed on, and you'd go home because you're going to lose 2-0.
It's something that's happened. I mean, one of the best stats about Aguero and Liverpool is that he has never scored at Anfield. He has scored in every other ground he's played in, but he's never scored at Anfield.
Yeah, it was like that with Messi with Chelsea or something like that. It just happens that way sometimes.
Where do you think he would rank amongst Premier League legendary strikers? I mean, I'm thinking there, like, compare him to someone like Thierry Henry, who, his goal compilations are everywhere. I don't know if with Aguero you'd see that kind of thing.
Aguero's goals are clinical. They're not like the prettiest goals.
I suppose.
Well, I don't mean in that he's never scored a pretty goal, obviously, but
Yeah.
With Aguero, you see it more as in like great movement, getting in the box and just how's he got the ball there? Oh wow, what a finish! With Thierry Henry, you'd see incredible touches, passing that beats everyone. A lovely dribble.
Henry's got more wow moments. Henry's got more wow moments, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's a better player.
Yeah. Personally, the top three of all-time Premier League strikers is probably going to be Shearer, Thierry Henry, and Aguero.
I mean, yeah, but you got to think about players like Suarez and Rooney.
Suarez wasn't there. No, he was a great player, but he wasn't there long enough. But that is a different subject.
No, I think you got to think about it a bit more though, because we've had a lot of Bergkamp. We've had a lot of good strikers.
No, I think that is a completely different.
All right, fair enough. Next tier list is just going to be legendary Premier League strikers.
I mean, we haven't really been alive long enough to do a good one of that, though. To be fair, I don't think
that'll be 3 hours, let alone like an hour and a half.
And we've already spent like an hour on Firmino and Aguero, and they should have been quite easy ones.
Yeah, and on that note, we should move on. And I think we've talked about two big ones, so let's maybe go down to the other end of the table and talk about Lys Mousset.
Oh, I know. I've been looking forward to this one already.
Right, yeah, same. The very definition of the invisible man, this one.
Oh, no, we scored against Everton.
Well, everyone does. So in his career, he has made 132 appearances and scored 23 goals. Like, his Bournemouth career, he played 71 games and scored 5 goals. Like,
I think what you've got to think with him though, he's playing for Sheffield United, who don't create a lot of chances. Like, they win like 1-0 a lot. Like, they don't score loads of goals as a team. So you got to cut him a bit of slack. I mean, he's got in 10 starts, he's got 5 goals this season.
He's a strange one, I think, because I don't rate him. Like, honestly, he's one of those that you don't really see. A bit of a target man, really, just to head along the ball in Sheffield United's 4-4-2 formation. Usually, like, he doesn't get seen a lot with the headlines.
I can't believe he played 71 games for Bournemouth. Talk about not being seen.
Yeah,
I know, that's the thing.
It doesn't tell me how many of them were substitute appearances, and I'm going to guess quite a few of them were.
Aye, but clearly he made absolutely no impact in that time, right? And then when Sheffield United go and sign him for 10 million, you just kind of wonder why.
Desperation, just to get a striker in there.
To be fair, for what I've seen, Sheffield United supporters actually think he's, a fairly exciting player. But he hasn't completed the full 90 minutes for them yet. And there's been allegations, that he's an inconsistent player and a poor trainer. And that's led, since the new year, he's barely scored.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best people to judge Mousset probably will be Sheffield United fans. We're not watching Sheffield United every week, so it's harder for us to say, but
I mean now it's been supplanted by players like Ollie McBurney and Sharp, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even David McCormick, who's never scored, but Sheffield United fans love him because he just trains and he works hard on the pitch, and you don't really see that with Mousset, to be dead honest.
I mean, he played 10 minutes against Aston Villa yesterday. Did nothing.
That's the thing. I reckon he is like a bench player. He is someone to come on for the last half an hour.
I was thinking bench at best because he hasn't, by the sounds of it, he hasn't had a bad season. Because, 5 goals, 4 assists in 10 starts. it's not terrible, especially for Sheffield United who don't score that many. And Sheffield United fans seem to rate him a bit. So that's why I don't think he's transfer list. But I don't think he's any higher than bench.
I mean, the guy's average at best, let's be honest.
But surely the fact that he can't score goals and he plays and Sheffield United aren't scoring goals indicates that he's the problem.
Well, I think it's a bit too far to say that they don't score goals considering their league position.
They don't score more. They don't win usually by more than one goal. But that's not a bad thing. If they're winning, they're winning. That's the thing. It's just their play style. Whatever works for them.
Yeah, I mean they've scored 30 goals in 29 games, man, and they don't score a ton of goals.
I mean, it's clear that he does a job. Otherwise, Chris Wilder wouldn't play him. Let's be honest.
I think he's averaging 1.42 shots per game. So that shows you kind of how many chances he's getting.
You're talking about like, oh, Chris Wilder could trust him. He's been subbed on more than he's started. So you can't really say that he's 100% trusted. Otherwise, he'd be starting every game. It's different when you say Aguero doesn't start every game because that's Gabriel Jesus, who's also a proven goal scorer. Lys Mousset is unable to separate himself from Ollie McBurney and Billy Sharp.
It's a good point.
He's transfer list. Every Sheffield United striker is a transfer list player.
Oof, that's harsh. That's a bit harsh.
What do you guys?
I would vote bench at best.
Do you guys by any chance know how old Lys Mousset is?
He is 24.
Yeah, 24. I actually thought like he was a lot younger than that, which I just kind of think emphasizes the invisibility that he's had over his Premier League career. I would probably put him as a transfer list.
Yeah.
So we got 2 for bench at best and 2 for transfer list.
Need a coin toss for this.
I'm happy to bow down and say transfer list.
I'll also point out that Who Scored has his key strength as key passes and long shots. The man's got, admittedly, 4 assists, so he's got a bit of a support striker to him. But his key strength is passing the ball, and that should not be for a striker. I know we've just talked about Firmino, but that's what stopped him from being world class. So.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Mangan, but I'm happy to concede to go.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, fair enough. Who should we do next? You know what? I'm seeing Timu Pukki there, and I'm feeling a bit of him.
Right, you feeling Timu Pukki?
I am, yeah.
In what way?
It's exactly as you heard it.
Yeah, I thought it was. Right. This one's a tough one because throughout most of his career, he has been relatively poor. Yet for some reason at Norwich, he's became something of a local hero. Like before he joined Brøndby, which was the team he joined before Norwich, the most goals he'd scored in a season was 18. Or in his entire career at that club was 18 rather. He's this team. He started his career at FC QTP. And that is exactly how you heard it.
I know them well.
Yeah, they're one of the best teams out. And until he got to Brøndby, he was a relatively poor striker. And for some reason, something's clicked. And he started the Premier League well. He scored about 5 or 6 goals, didn't he, at the start of the season?
Oh, yeah, he was banging it on fantasy football.
Yeah, including against City as well. And then for some reason, after international duty, he just dropped off.
Well, it's quite easy to say what happened after international duty. It's everyone got a scout report on him.
And also, Norwich are probably the worst team in the Prem at the moment.
I mean, they are the worst team.
Okay, they're the worst team in the Prem. I'm just trying to...
The table doesn't lie, Paddy.
Nice. The table doesn't lie. But he has got 11 goals for them this season.
He has the most goals. Like, he's 56% of goals that Norwich have scored were from Timu Pukki.
I mean, when you think about Aguero scoring 16 this season, Pukki's got 11. You think about the difference in quality. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, I don't think Pukki's a transferless player. I feel like he's clearly proven that he can do it in the Premier League.
But would he be a first team regular for most teams?
Oh God, no, he won't even be a squad player.
Ooh, not even a squad player.
I think that's being generous, putting him in squad player, to be dead honest. Yeah. I think it is as well, because yes, he started really well, which has saved him from being transfer listed. But since then, he's not scored more than enough. He kind of.
Well, I mean, he's got 11 goals this season.
Yeah, no, yeah,
it's not bad.
And how many of them were scored before December?
Well, it doesn't matter, because he's playing for the West team in the Prem, and he's got 5 goals less than Aguero this season. That's not a bad return. And if you watch him, his movement is fantastic, and he's a decent finisher. You know, you can't complain too much with him.
If I may, I feel like his form has been extremely well mapped to Norwich's form. Like, you remember when they first came up, a lot of people kind of liking them, thinking they had like some daring, attacking, swashbuckling approach. It didn't really get them any good results, but there was some good football, right? There was some good passages of play leading to good goals from Pukki. But ultimately, as that Norwich play has dried up and been dealt with, so has the goals from Pukki. So his fate seems heavily intertwined with how the club is doing, which kind of makes you wonder, is it the player or is it the team that means he's tailed off?
Well, I think he's not one of those strikers that can create an opportunity for himself. So he very much relies on his teammates to pick him out when he moves for them. So I think that is something to do with it.
It's a tough, like, let's be honest, in terms of the signing himself, he was a free transfer, so you can't really complain with that. And he did a great job in the Championship. He came up, he started doing it. They had that amazing result against City, which he basically ran out of Mendy in that ragged. And like Neil said, as Norwich's form has tailed off, so is he. So you can't really give him the benefit of that, really.
Like, Norwich were Liverpool's first game of the season. I remember watching that thinking his movement is causing our defence nightmares. Like, Joe Gomez didn't know what to do with him that game. And he's one of the best young defenders in world football. So I think if he can do it against Liverpool, he can do it against most teams. So that's why I would have him a squad player, because I think he's got something.
Okay, yeah. I think, yeah, I will agree with you just because of his influence on the team itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gave me Lys Mousset. I'm willing to back down on Pukki.
Yeah, fair. Let's put him a squad player. Who should we do next?
I think I want to head back up the table to probably one of the best English players of the modern day, Harry Kane.
Okay, this could be interesting, this one.
I am not going to lie here. When I first saw him, I thought he was going to be a one-season wonder, and he proved me massively wrong.
But I can't help thinking of Harry Kane without thinking of the World Cup, where he didn't pass to stay on.
Yeah, but there are times when he has been, in a sense, selfish, both on and off the pitch.
But I think you need that to be a top striker. That's the thing.
I mean, let's be honest. Let's not forget about when he swore on his daughter's life that he scored against Stoke.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably taken it a bit too far, but again, it does show you how much he wants, how much he's driven and wants to score goals.
How much he wants the golden boot.
I mean, possibly you could say he's the best finisher on this list.
Oh, I mean, I think I'd still probably go Aguero.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely a player, like, when he has the ball anywhere near the goal, a team is extremely worried. And that is the essence of being a great striker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he's back from injury now. He's coming back in, so the Premier League can get a bit worried again. There has been a bit of a trend in the past couple of seasons where he's got an injury and he's had to finish his season early, which is a bit of a worry. Like, is he starting to get a bit of injury prone towards the end? Because he is relied on so much by Spurs. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's the thing. They have to play him basically every game because they don't really have a second option.
Yeah, because they refuse to go for one.
Well, the problem is it's going to be hard to convince someone to join you just to be a backup.
I mean, they tried it with Llorente. They tried.
I know, but he wasn't ever going to be a good enough player to challenge Kane.
Man won the Champions League quarter-final against City.
Well, I mean, it hit his knee and went in, or his hip or something. I mean, I could have scored that goal, to be honest. All he had to do was stand there.
What a striker.
Yeah, the essence of a striker, that is, to be fair.
Yeah, that's what you want in your striker.
I suppose. Right position. I suppose right position, right time.
So I'm hearing Fernando Llorente world class.
Yeah, swap out Kane. We're putting in Llorente. No, but you have to look at his Spurs career in general. 278 appearances, 181 goals. Like, that is just mental.
Spectacular return of goals.
No, and considering Tottenham haven't necessarily been one of the top teams over the last few years. I mean, they kind of have, but they're not like Liverpool City level.
No, of course not. But he has always been their shining star.
And actually, he is one of those strikers who can create a goal from absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and actually, whilst we're on the subject of Harry Kane, just a quick tangent into something else. Do you think he'll leave Spurs at all?
It's weird. It will truly come down to if Spurs can take the next step or if they fall back. I think as long as they're in the way they are now, they're safe with Harry Kane at the moment. But if they fall down because they haven't been able to build a good squad around them, you could see him wanting to leave. I don't think he'll go to Man United like everyone seems to.
I could struggle to see a club that could afford him.
I mean, it's clear that Harry Kane loves Spurs and Spurs fans feel the same way about him, but it is that ambition that he has. He wants to win trophies because he is, in a sense, he is too good for Spurs in the sense of Spurs have not won any trophies for years, and Harry Kane is very much a trophy-ridden player.
I mean, this season is the first season where he's kind of came out and was like, I might have to move on. It's the first time he showed a bit of disloyalty. So you can see his mind's changing a bit, thinking, I need to win something in my career.
I think he's 26 now. He's entered the prime of his career. When you're 28 and you're starting to think, oh God, and when he's had a lot of injury-plagued seasons, it's at that point where you're probably going to do a Van Persie and think, I've got to go, don't I?
And if you look at Tottenham's trajectory, they're sort of going backwards, not forwards.
Yeah.
So.
I wonder if this is a case where, to truly be proven as a world-class player, he has to go to a top team and win something. Exactly like Colin said with Robin Van Persie. I think it's a really similar situation. He's at a great club, but to truly be a world-class player, does he not have to make that final step up and win something at a big club?
I could see him going abroad, to be honest with you, if he wanted to do it.
I mean, I know it was kind of lucky, but he was also top scorer at the World Cup. I mean, it was one of the worst top scorers you'll ever see because of the amount of penalties and things like that. But you have to kind of be almost world class to be top goal scorer at a World Cup.
Yeah, you have to be relying.
I feel like, wait, are we talking ourselves out of putting him world class because he is world class?
No,
no. I'm just.
I think we've already agreed.
I think we know he's world class. We're delaying the inevitable, to be honest. But
yeah, I mean, one thing about Harry Kane is I'll never forget when he started against Madrid, and they had to put him in instead of Lucas Moura. I think that cost Spurs the Champions League final, personally. I
mean, if someone said to you, out randomly, name a striker, probably Harry Kane would maybe be the first one you'd say. He's just that. It's just can't speak. The dictionary definition of a striker.
Oh, big words, Paddy. Well in, lad.
I mean, tongue twisted that. Try say it 3 times fast.
He's the
Can't
most
even-
complete. He's the most complete player on this list.
Yeah, I'll give you
Yeah,
that.
I would agree. Like
Give you that.
he is world class. Like there's no point. There's no arguing on that. It's just
Yeah.
his career in general.
Should we take it down to someone who isn't world class now?
I mean, there's quite a few.
All right then. In that case, I think I will bring up Troy Deeney.
Ooh.
Oh,
Didn't think you were going. I thought you were going to say someone crapper, but we'll see.
okay. Let's hear your pitch.
Troy Deeney. Oh, I didn't think I'd have to start. Okay, well,
You said it.
Yeah, you picked him.
with Troy, with Troy Deeney, you've got the epitome of Watford there, and Watford are shit.
Wow.
Maybe we shouldn't have started with the Everton fan talking
Yeah.
about Watford.
Why did we choose him to start?
Sure, like-
Why? It's irrelevant about Watford. What's Troy Deeney here?
I've used all one swear on Troy Deeney as well.
I
You know,
mean,
it's
you're doing
worth
that
it.
for all of us.
Look, right, Troy Deeney. You look at how long he's spent his time there, and has he ever truly had an amazing season?
I mean, he had that 6 months in prison.
Exactly, 6 months of that alone.
Mate.
I'm sorry, I had to do it. 388 games, 127 goals. That's not too. It's a good
That
return
That
rate.
surprised me, that, to be fair.
That
Yeah.
does
Not
include
bad.
championship.
Yeah, but that was the same for Pookie. I included championship stats
Yeah.
as well. Like, he's just a bit of a bully on the ball, really.
I mean, ultimately, if you were picking a player that you wouldn't want to face out of this list, Troy Deeney would probably be up there as a defender. Because I imagine he's horrible to play against.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a massive
At very least. I
meanie.
mean, he's a meanie.
He is a meanie.
We definitely have used. We definitely used up all our swear words with
You
this episode.
shouldn't use that swear word. I've got so much to say.
Now we have to call him a meanie. Oh no, I can't criticize Calvert-Lewin properly now.
Ah. No, but Deeney he looks a rough soldier when he's playing. Like he goes into everything, he tackles, he gets I mean that Arsenal game last season where he 2-footed Torreira, and like I just watched it, I was like, that is so Troy Deeney.
Well, think of more goals. 6 goals and 17 appearances this season. 17 starts, that is.
Terrific.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not a brilliant record, but at the same time, Watford haven't had a brilliant season. And
Yeah, but how much is that down to the fact that their starting strike force is Troy Deeney and Andre Gray?
You hate Watford so much, and you could just hear it in your voice.
well, no, I don't think they've been playing him and Gray up together. They've been playing Deeney up on his own with Delfeu and the other fast guy on the right.
Ismail Assar.
That's the one.
How'd you forget Shah?
Well, mate, it's not that memorable.
We like
his performance against you was.
Well, exactly. I've
Yeah,
blanked it out my head.
I mean, everyone needs a good game once every 10 years.
Oh.
He's 19.
Yeah, exactly. I'm expecting he had a poor career up to that point.
Oh, he's 22. Never mind.
Oh, well, take that back then.
I've got a question for you, right? I'll give it to you, Everton fans, because this has never happened to Liverpool.
Oh, God's sake.
What's it like being at the bottom of the barrel?
No, well, that's my next question. But if someone said to you, right, Everton are signing Troy Deeney tomorrow.
I'd shoot myself.
Okay, that's that one sorted.
I want a second opinion, Neil. What would you say if Troy Deeney was signing for Everton?
I mean, obviously, but a player like Deeney isn't quite the quality for a team like Everton that's trying to move up the league, but he is dependable. And I think something that we probably haven't mentioned up to now is his role in the Watford team as captain. Because I've always thought Troy Deeney was a very good captain, because he always seems to be in the news talking about something or complaining about something, or even in the match, talking to the referee, getting physical, fighting like a good captain should. And he's even got like the perfect background for it. As we said, like, he was in jail. Like he's a reformed criminal who's now out there, he gives interviews to newspapers regarding, I don't think I should go back because of the coronavirus or, supporting gay or bisexual footballers. I think that's like a pretty admirable characteristic. Obviously, it doesn't necessarily pertain to his technical skill on the ball, but, having a good captain on your team can be a really valuable thing, as many teams have shown over the past.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. He is a really good captain in that regards.
Hang on. I don't think Troy Deeney is a transfer list candidate. He's not Lys Mousset level of bad.
No, I think he's bench at best, personally.
I do think he's bench at best.
He's kind of one of those players you would want in your team just to kind of be there.
The little Rottweiler. The little rock for the team.
Just a little wild card.
But
that's kind of all you'd want him to be, which is why I'd say bench at best.
I will say, like, you talk about his 6 goals, 2 of them were in pens as well.
Oh, well.
What can you say? He's reliable. And but, however, I think we should move on now.
Put him bench at best.
Yeah, I think so. And I want to talk about someone that we briefly covered at the beginning of this podcast. I want to talk about Raul Jimenez.
Yeah, very interesting one.
I think Raul Jimenez is the epitome of a classic striker. I think he's got great agility, despite he's quite tall. He's quite good at battling for a ball. When he first joined, I wasn't expecting much from him, but he is actually like the perfect out-and-out striker, and it's clear why Liverpool have been linked with him, because he is like that Firmino. He is that level of creativity, but also being lethal with the ball in the box.
I mean, you're talking about Kane being the most complete player on this list.
I think you've completely gone wrong there by trying to say that he's a classic striker. He's a false 9.
I think he is the classic striker. I think he's the old gunsmith. Like, he's that guy who would be battling for a ball, maybe trying to beat the player every now and then. And he does play well with the midfielders. He does create. He does score. Like, I think he is that complete striker.
Well, yeah, as you said, Kane may be the most complete on this. Jimenez probably a close second.
He's really good. I do like Raul Jimenez.
13 goals in 28 starts this season. Decent return.
An interesting thing to bring up as well is, the way Wolves play, like him and Jota up front creates like a very, traditional 2-striker dynamic, which is really effective. So I can definitely see the classic striker analogy there, because he links up so well with his strike partner.
Yeah, and he's a real beneficiary of Adama Traore.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you're Raul Jimenez, it's a dream to have someone like that on the wing.
I think Wolves are one of the, in a sense, underrated teams in the Prem, despite the amount of money they spent.
Well, I don't know about that, because I think people do rate them.
They're rated, but I don't think they get rated enough. I think they've got a great front three as well, with Jota, Traore and Jimenez.
Yeah, they've got some really exciting players, and their managers has built a really strong team. And this guy is important to that.
I think that's pretty harsh to say that Wolves are underrated. I mean, they're probably seen as the best of the rest.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I don't think it's harsh, because I think they are still underrated, because I think they'll get Champions League soon. I think they'll get Champions League in the next couple of years. I think that if they keep that team, they are still a lot of them are still quite young.
Jimenez is 29.
I said a lot of them. I didn't include Jimenez, but he's still got a few years. Let's be honest. He's just started a couple of seasons ago at Wolves, and he's absolutely pushing it.
You say that, but Jimenez is 29. Bowley's 29. Joe Moutinho's 33. Doherty's 28. Patricio's 32. Admittedly, he's a keeper. It's an old squad.
But then you've got people like Adama Traore, Diogo, Connor Cody.
Connor Cody's 27.
He's still, and a centre back. He's still a long way to go from retirement.
Yeah, but I mean, Connor Cody's not that great anyway.
Right, we're not getting into this because that is a completely different tangent.
Yeah. Save that for the centre back episode.
Yeah, but I believe that Raul Jimenez is first team regular.
Yeah, he's not world class, is he? You know, you can't put him on Aguero's level.
No, not yet. Certainly.
Well, if he started for Liverpool, I wouldn't complain.
No, I'd be very happy, and that he has been linked with Liverpool lately, and I think that is justified. Like, it's not like we're getting a nobody.
Yeah,
I mean,
fair.
Wolves are a good team, right? But Raul Jimenez is their talisman. I don't know if anyone would disagree with that.
No, I think he's their big man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's
No, it takes a good striker. Takes a good striker to lead that team. So yeah, first team regular. Right, okay, I'm going to choose the next one that we're talking about. I want to talk about Sebastian Haller because at the start of the season, when I first saw him play, I was thinking West Ham have got themselves a real player here because the combination of his physical height, strength, and pace, and decent finishing, combined that with some finishing, I thought he could be a real force, but he hasn't quite been the player I think they wanted from him.
I mean, 7 goals in 29. He's not been great, and there's been a couple of that this year. A couple of strikers brought in that haven't been great at all. West Ham have really suffered this season, and part of that is because of Haller not being able to bang them in. Right, and for the price they signed them for, 36 million plus add-ons, you expect a lot more from that.
But I really do believe if you took Kane out of that team and replaced him out of Tottenham, replaced him with Haller, I think he could do some real things because his ability is undoubted. He's just not doing anything with it.
So are you blaming the tools he has?
I don't know. That's what I mean. I don't know whether to blame it on the team that he's playing in. I think it's maybe a bit of both. It's hard because I can see so much in him. I can see like he's such a complete player, but he's just not effective.
I think that's harsh, criticising the West Ham squad. West Ham as a whole is a team that should be performing well better than it is. I mean, you look at Felipe Anderson, you look at Fornals, Lanzini, Yarmolenko. West Ham went into this season being told that they had one of the best transfer windows. I mean, admittedly, that's probably the key indication of you've had a rubbish transfer window.
I was going to say, didn't Everton win the transfer window for 2 years in a row?
Well,
no comment.
Whenever West Ham sign players, though, it feels just like they kind of just, oh, this guy looks good, throw money at him. This guy looks good, throw money. It doesn't feel like very thought out when they buy players. You know, what players are going to fit together, things like that. So I think that they're a victim of that for a start, but I'm not here to fix West Ham's problems.
I mean, who is?
Frankfurt last season with Jovic, Rebic and Haller were one of the top goal scorers in the entirety of Germany, and Haller was the clear number 2 in the trio. All three have been dreadful this season. Jovic has not settled into Madrid at all. Rebic is now back at Frankfurt after failing at Milan, although everyone fails at Milan now. And Haller, 7 goals. I mean, I think you got to look at it as, was it just a one-season wonder?
So what you're saying is that West Ham need to sign Jovic and Rebic to get the most out of Haller?
Yeah, and also hire their manager and maybe move to Frankfurt.
But to me, when I look at Haller, I there's a player there. But
I mean that's the point of this tier list. To be honest with you, there's a few players here.
Oh, mate. But I see real potentially. I know he's 25, but I think he can do more with what he's got. And I don't know whether that's to do with him, to do with the club he's at. I don't know.
I saw a lot of talk suggesting that Haller and the rest of like the West Ham team really have just been creatively a bit of a black hole. Like I saw one article quotes something along the lines of a striker can't be his own winger or something like that, suggesting he's not getting the support. But also there have been games like West Ham away at Everton in the Christmas period where he just missed a load of gilt-edged chances. But I saw so many West Ham fans saying like he is not being involved enough in the creation of chances, like starting them and then moving into a position. But also there's just a complete lack of creativity running through that West Ham team that's really dragging him down.
Yeah, I mean, they've got some really good creative players like Lanzini and Anderson, but they just don't gel together. Because, as I said, they kind of just throw money at different players that they think look good. And they don't think about how they're going to come together and gel together.
It is a strange one, like, because they've got, in a sense, such exotic players. Like, they've got your Anderson, your Lanzinis and all that. And right now they have David Moyes as the manager. Yeah, it doesn't really instill confidence in you, does it? Like,
that's what I mean. That nothing about the way they've built the club makes a lot of sense. It doesn't feel like it's been thought out that much.
No, I agree.
But anyway, I mean, we're not here to talk about that.
Honestly,
where would you put Haller?
Honestly, with this season, because we are looking at Premier League strikers, bench at best.
He's not a squad player. He doesn't. He wins a lot of aerial headers. You're getting 7.6 a game this season, but he doesn't do anything with the ball. He's not a passer. He's not anything like you say. Like, you know, obviously he can't be his own winger, but he's getting about 2 shots a game, and he's not putting the ball in the net at all.
Like, if we were just basing off ability, I could easily put him first team regular because I think he's got so much ability. But obviously, I have to put him bench at best because he's just not being effective enough.
He's not being effective enough.
Simple as. But I see something in him. But whether we'll see that or not, begs the question.
Yeah, I'm going to take over from here because I want to
look. Let Neil have a go.
Okay, if that's...
Come on, you settle this, Neil.
Wait, so you want me to introduce a new player or talk about Haller?
Introduce a new player.
Okay, fair enough. How about someone like Neil Maupay?
Oh, God. Oh, that's why we haven't let Neil have a go.
Gotta talk about him eventually.
I know.
We are going pretty obscure here, aren't we?
I think maybe the most boring player on the list.
He actually has 8 goals this season, which I think is not particularly bad for someone playing for Brighton, is it?
I'm actually surprised by that.
Brian played quite attacking football, though.
He's only 23 as well. I might have said he's a bit boring. I wasn't being like he's a bad player. There's not a lot to talk about with him.
I would just like to say for Brighton, I wanted alleged EDL member Glenn Murray. Alleged by me, because look at him. But Maupay is that he's had a good run. He had a great run in the Championship with Brentford. And when he was signed for Brighton, I was a bit surprised because I was wondering whether 20 million, it's still a bit of a risk for a team like Brighton who are lower down. And he has settled in quite well, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think they could have asked for too much more from him, like, realistically.
I think he's been the entirety of the Brentford attack, pretty much. Him and Pascal Grobe. Because you look at it, he's got 8 goals, and then the second best is 3.
Wow.
That's shocking.
That's a worrying start.
But what do we expect? Do we expect nothing less from Brighton? Let's be honest.
There's something quite telling with Maupay. It's that of every player in the league, he actually has the 5th highest number of shots.
Yeah,
Really?
I was looking. The average is 2.82 shots a game, which is quite high for like a Brighton player.
Like that's higher than think about it, that's higher than a lot of Liverpool players, attacking players.
That's mental, that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it is.
But of course, the goal return is average at best, right? So you're probably thinking he's a pretty average player.
It is a tough one because, like you said, Neil Maupay to quite a few is quite invisible in a sense. Like, he's not as characteristic as some of the players we've talked about before or characters we'll talk about later on. But he has settled into a Brighton team that doesn't really expect a lot of goals. But he's he's a good striker for getting in. When we say Haller doesn't create enough or do enough for it, I think Maupay's right in the middle of it.
I think ultimately he's done a job for Brighton. He's done a job, nothing more, nothing less.
I'd honestly put him in squad player.
I don't know. I think I think you guys you're looking at club too much, and where these guys came from. If we're looking at what these guys bring, Haller's clearly the better player because of his aerial ability. I mean, aerials 1 per game for Maupay is 0.7. Haller's is 7.6.
Yeah, no, Haller's for sure a better player, but Maupay's got more goals than him this season.
In less
playing in probably a worse team.
I'll give you that. Definitely a worse team Maupay's part of.
So, it's about how effective he's been. Like, he's doing more with what he's got.
Okay. Yeah.
But
But
what he's got is not that much. So I don't know if I put him squad player.
I just think he's bench at best. If we're looking at of all Premier League strikers,
I couldn't put him on the same level as Pukki. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
I think if you were looking at levels, he'd be kind of Deeney Haller level this season. So I'd say bench at best.
Like, what team above Brighton would sign him? Is a good question.
That is a good question. I don't think any.
I believe. West Ham are below him.
Like, if Brighton got relegated, would anyone be thinking, "Oh my god"?
Newcastle probably would. We haven't talked about their striker yet, but Newcastle probably would.
Well, that's a good segue. Should we just put Maupay and bench at best and go with Joe Linton next?
Okay. Right. We can sum this up quickly. Transfer list.
Yeah. This is another Catwoman.
Yeah. Next.
Joe Linton is the Catwoman of football.
I don't even want to speak about him. He's just awful.
I can't believe the money they spent. I remember, I think it was you, Collins, telling me when they actually bought him, you told me his goal records from last season.
7.
And I was like, they've spent 40 million on a guy with 7 goals in a whole season. It's incredible.
He is their 10th top goal scorer in Newcastle this season with 1.
Oh my god. That's crazy. That's 1 more than the keeper.
Just.
Dubravka is closing in on him. Let's just leave him there and move on to someone else because it's not even worth wasting our time on him.
I mean, I can give you his stats altogether.
No, I don't want to know. I don't want to know, mate. If he's got 1 goal, that's all we need to know.
Oh wow,
I want to move on to someone better.
May I give you a devil's advocate first? I have seen a fair number saying that he's a decent player who's just completely unsuited for Newcastle. He's actually the kind of player who, likes the ball at his feet. He can play out on the wing or play as an attacking midfielder. He's not an out-and-out striker, really. He likes to run at players, cut in from wide. But with Newcastle, what's happened is under the Bruce system, this player has just been asked to chase long balls and hold the ball up, which is the complete opposite of the role he played at Hoffenheim, leaving him, any player is going to struggle, if you take them and put them in a system that's completely unsuited for them, physically and technically.
But even still, he was more suited to Hoffenheim, and he still only got 7 goals.
Yeah, that's sort of, you say that, but he was rubbish at Hoffenheim.
I wouldn't say rubbish, otherwise they wouldn't have signed him for 40 million. But
I mean,
his goal return wasn't good enough.
It is Newcastle.
Well, yeah, but they must have saw something in him.
I saw someone making the comment that he comes from the same school as someone like Firmino. Obviously, not as that. Like, there are certain like important players who've like played in the Premier League. They haven't set the world on fire, but they've been a striker who's been more about the build-up play than the goal. I can think of someone like who lasted a really long time. Like, remember Franco Di Santo?
Wow!
Oh, what a blast
I have
from the past.
not heard that in ages.
So like I'm just trying to like say here, maybe he's not terrible, but he's certainly not good, and it definitely, when you add being in Steve Bruce's system, it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I mean, he might go to a different club after this, and he might do amazing. I never say fair enough.
The man's committed as many handballs as he's put the ball in the net.
But for now, it has to be transferless based on what we've seen.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Let's move on to Jamie Vardy, because I want to talk about someone better.
Oh, what a fella.
Now, this is going to be a tough one because his goal return, I mean, he's top goal scorer in the Premier League again, and he's already been the top goal scorer in the season. And he's playing for Leicester. Not one of the big dogs. Maybe slowly becoming one of the big dogs, but...
They're third in the league, mate.
No, I know, but you know what I mean. Like, he's a big part of why they're third in the league. Big part.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's just what you want. Just incredible pace, incredible work rate, great finisher. I mean, you don't want much more from a striker.
He's a player who perfectly fits into the system Leicester play, isn't he? And he's also got his own innate ability to excel.
Yeah, like we're talking, like it's a bit like Firmino. Like we're saying, as a footballer, he's world class, but as a striker, he's first team regular. Now, as a footballer, you'd say the opposite. Jamie Vardy's probably first team regular, but as a striker, you'd maybe have to say world class if you look at his goal return.
I think he's an amazing striker. I think he is one of the best. He is one of the most clinical. I mean, remember, he holds the record for the most consecutive goals in Premier League history with 13. When they won the league, he is one of the reasons that Leicester won the league, along with Mahrez and Kante.
He's 19 goals this season, 25 starts. I mean, amazing.
And I think you also have to consider that the jump he made. He started his career in Halifax Town, then spent a year in the conference with Fleetwood, then went to Leicester. Didn't have the greatest start. I think he scored 5 goals in his first season, and just slowly
in the January period,
and just slowly built into an amazing striker.
Like I think if someone said to you can have any one of these strikers for your team for one season, I think I'd probably pick Vardy. Like, I don't think he's better than Aguero, obviously, but like he's just a player you really want for your team. Like the work rate, the pace, must be a nightmare to defend against.
He does look like a nightmare because he doesn't look pacey, but my God, when he sets off, like, good luck trying to catch him.
And 2.27 shots per game. 2.27 shots on average per game, and he's a top goal scorer in the league. We think about Neil Maupay, like 2.8. That's incredible, to be honest.
How many of them are? Do you know how many of them?
Kind of shows how clinical he is.
Do you know how many are penalties? Out of curiosity.
I don't.
His goals. Hang on. His goals.
Because I think he has scored a couple of pens, hasn't he?
His goals he scored 4 penalties this season.
I mean, that's still pretty impressive. I
think, Paddy, you might want to drop back on your point about the amount of shots per game he's having. Like, remember, Maupay's the 5th most shots. 2.3 is a lot of shots per game.
It's not as much when you compare it to people like Firmino and Aguero and
especially
Maupay, as you said. It's not that many.
especially how many of them shots are being converted.
Like he's got a strong, like considering 19 goals with that shots per game average. That shows that he's a strong finisher. I mean, we knew that anyway, but it kind of just proves it. And that's why I'd put him world class, because as a striker, he's a world class striker. I mean, he's outscoring players like Aguero and Kane.
I think that's tough because
No, he's world class, man.
I am racked between world class and first team regular myself, just because it is a confusing one for me, because he is the clinical striker, but I don't know. I'll let you guys decide. I am racked myself because it's one of them.
Here's a question. Do you think a top tier team, like a real top tier team, your Real Madrid, your Barcelona, your Bayern, your Juventus, could see Jamie Vardy in their squad?
I think that's
Juventus could, Barcelona couldn't, Real Madrid, it's a 50-50 whether that could work.
I think you don't think it could, because he's where he's come from. Like he's come from like Fleetwood, and that you think of Fleetwood to Real Madrid, and that's not going to happen. But honestly, I think if you slotted him into Real Madrid's team, he could compete.
That's a world class.
But you look at Jovic, who plays in a similar style to Vardy. He's not excelled there. I know, obviously, Vardy's a better player, but with Real Madrid, they operate with a lot more of a complete striker. It's why Benzema's been there for so long, because Benzema is a lot better at distribution. It's why I say it's 50-50 with him there.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to change. You'd have to maybe change the squad around a bit, change the play style a bit. Maybe go back to being maybe more counter-attacking Real Madrid. But
that gets you sacked.
Well,
can't be counter-attacking at Real Madrid because you
maybe. But I mean, if we compare him to players like Benzema, like I honestly rather have Vardy in my team than Benzema. But that's a different debate. I think he's world class as a striker.
Oh yeah, he's world class. I think you put him in like Juventus and Bayern, he wouldn't look out of place at all, but he's a lot more suited to their play styles.
Yeah. Do you guys agree then, world class?
I mean, I don't know myself.
Sitting on the fence, you can't sit on the fence. You got to pick one.
I'd pick first team regular then. But you guys clearly want him world class. Sorry. So.
What about you, Neil? We need a.
I think world class is a fair argument to make.
Yeah. Let's put him there. I think he deserves it. Right. He's worked hard.
He's worked hard, and he's finally got the credit he deserves the most in his career. He's made it in our tier list.
I mean, it's what he's been waiting for.
Yeah. All right. Now then, from one world class striker to another, let's talk about Jordan Ayew.
I thought you were going to say Calvert-Lewin.
Same. I actually thought he was going to say Calvert-Lewin. I was going to shut it down immediately.
Now, before this season, you'd probably go straight into transfer list, because he's kind of one of those players, kind of goes a bit under the radar. But he's had a decent season for a team that doesn't really score.
When I think of Jordan Ayew, I think he was always in the shadow of his brother.
But I mean, he's at a high level than him now.
Yeah, he is. I mean, fair play to him for getting there in the first place. He is someone that tends to go under the radar, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think this season has been kind of his standout season. He's got 8 goals in 28 games, which is not amazing when you look at it straight on that. When you look at it straight on that, it's not amazing, but you've got to think Crystal Palace have a real goal-scoring problem. They have a real lack of creativity as well.
Yeah, they've scored 26 goals, Crystal Palace, which I think puts them down near the bottom. I know that's only one more than Newcastle.
I think that's quite shocking, the amount that they praise Wilfried Zaha as that creative spark, and they've still got no goals whatsoever, basically.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, they're relying on him alone, so you got to cut him a bit of slack.
You say relying on Zaha alone, 3 goals, 3 assists. Not had the greatest season.
No, he hasn't, but they look to him whenever they haven't had a good game or haven't scored. They say, "Oh, probably Zaha's had a bad game." Like they kind of look to him to be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I don't think he's as good as everyone says, but we're not rating him today.
Oh. I mean, yeah, okay. So yeah, Crystal Palace have got they're the third lowest goal scorers with 26. I think only Norwich and Newcastle have less, and they've only scored one less. So for 8 goals and 26 is actually quite a good return for player to team ratio.
Yeah, I think he's had a great season.
Didn't he score a screamer towards?
Yeah, he had like a solo run, didn't he? Brilliant.
I can't remember who it was against. Was it against someone like Southampton?
Yeah, I can't remember either, but I think he's been a bit of a surprise package this season. And I think we have to be fair to him in our rating based on that.
I think Brighton have scored 29 goals. Malpay scored 8, and their second top scorer has 3. And Jordan Ayew's got 8, and their second and third top goal scorer both have 3. You kind of have to put him at bench at best alongside Malpay.
It's a good point. It is a good point. I was thinking squad player just because I've been really impressed with him this season, but you do raise a good point. He has had a kind of similar season to Malpay. Maybe we've underrated Malpay a bit.
We are considering the other seasons here though. Like he did.
Yeah. It's true.
Previous seasons have been poor.
Yeah, we'll put him bench at best. I think that's fair.
Mangan?
Right.
No,
I am going to go very much higher because I want to go to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
Right.
And I think he's world class.
I'm sorry. Can I quickly go back to Jordan Ayew for 1 second? I know we just finished, but I've just looked at his previous seasons. He either scores 1 goal or 8 goals.
Wow.
Well,
that's
7, but like
that's the definition of consistently inconsistent.
Yeah,
I'd say.
Yeah. So since he joined in the 15-16 season, he scored 7 goals. Then he scored 1 goal. Then he scored 7 goals. Then he scored 1 goal, and now he's on 8. So
I think
I think bench at best is actually incredibly fair for him.
Yeah, I think it's fair. Like if it hadn't been for this season, he might have even been transferred. So I think that's what's boosting him off. Go on, Mangan. You get started on Aubameyang.
Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Arsenal career 97 games, 61 goals. Dortmund career 213 games, 141 goals. If that's not a goal scorer, then I do not know what is. He's so good, man. I think he can do everything. He's got the pace, he's got the skill, he's got the technique, he's got the finishing power. Like, if it wasn't for him, Arsenal would be in a lot worse situation than he currently are, and that's already still bad.
Yeah, I don't think he's the greatest finisher. I think he creates a lot of chances for himself because of his pace. But, I mean, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. The goal return is what you're looking for here. And
he is, for goal return, he is one of the best.
Yeah.
Golden Boot winner last season.
Yeah.
Alongside 2 other people, but
Arsenal didn't have a good season at all last season, and he's done that.
And he's done that, and he is another one, like, similar to Kane, I could see leaving pretty soon.
Yeah, the only problem is his age, though.
You'd have to pay a
decent sum of money for 31-year-old.
Yeah, but his contract runs out soon. I think it's the end of next season.
Well,
and he's not going to sign another one unless he gets an Ozil deal.
Yeah. But by the end of that, he might not be the same, but who knows?
True.
But for now, world class for sure.
Oh yeah, he's world class.
Like he's just a cracking player, really. I would have loved to have had him at Liverpool.
No, just a nightmare to play against. So when you see he's on the team sheet, you think, oh no.
I think it's really difficult for Arsenal fans right now because you have Aubameyang and you also have another great striker in Lacazette, and not working right now.
Lacazette's been awful this season.
Yeah, I think he's really talented though, Lacazette though. Like watching him play, I think he's got a lot more to give than he's given. A bit like Haller, but but not quite because Lacazette has been decent overall.
Lacazette is a lot better than Haller.
Yeah, no, but I think he's got more to give.
The one thing though is, I mean, Lacazette's 29 as well. I think if you're Arsenal, you have to sell both of these, and just try and
sell both. I think that would wreck your club. I think the situation they're in is if one of them goes, either one is a good enough replacement for the other one. If Aubameyang went, I think Lacazette could stand in and be counted on because I think he's super talented.
But yeah, I do agree. But like, Aubameyang's just a different class, really. He's I would actually want to know what would happen to Arsenal if Aubameyang wasn't there, because they would be a lot worse off. Because I think he's got one of the most goal per ratio. Like, I think earlier on this season it said if Aubameyang didn't score on all them goals, Arsenal would be in the relegation zone, and I thought that was mental.
Yeah, but I don't really like those stats because there'd always be someone different in his place, and you don't know how good they do, but for sure he's been incredibly influential, and he's world class. He's world class.
Let's not remember the infamous Lukaku stats of if you take away all his goals for Everton, they'd still be 7th. And then what happened to us when we saw Lukaku and didn't replace him?
Yeah, no, I don't like those kind of stats, but they do kind of show that he has been influential. So
yeah.
So who should we do next? Should we give Danny Ings a bit of love?
I think Danny Ings was one of the most unlucky players when he was at Liverpool, because he started really well and then he got injured, and after that it wasn't really the same. And he's came up at Southampton, fair play to him. He's top scorer of 18, and in all comps, I think he's a really good striker. I do. Obviously not world class or anything like that.
No.
I'd probably put him as squad player, to be honest with you.
Not first team regular based on this season.
But you look at all his other seasons.
Yeah.
But even his other seasons were decent. Barely. He didn't do too bad when he was at Liverpool. When he was fit, he was on decent form before he got injured.
To be fair, Paddy, when he was fit, that was about 6 weeks. Because after that, he did his.
But we were so bad in that period, and he was like the only shining light. And we just signed him for very little money from Burnley, and he was like carrying us forward a bit at that point.
Hang on, what season did Danny Ings join you guys?
I think it was the 2014-2015.
No, that's way too early. No, that's too early. That wasn't 2014.
So 2015-16?
Maybe 2016-17. I don't know.
Right. Well, here's the thing. 2015-16 season, he scored 2 goals. I think that's the season he joined you. 2016-17 season, never played because of injuries. 17-18, 1 goal, and then he moved to, and then he
but
left.
He wasn't playing at all in that period. Like, he was injured for most of it.
Exactly, which is why I'm trying to figure out where was this bright spot that for Liverpool. That
well, it's not just all about the goals, though. I mean, we were watching him at that point, and we were thinking that this guy is the only shining light in our team at the moment. He was starting to gather some momentum. I'm not saying like he was unbelievable at that point, but he was doing well for us before his injury.
Like, he started 3 goals in his first 9 appearances for Liverpool, and it was the derby. I'm talking all comps. It was actually at the derby that he got injured when he scored. And
It was.
Yeah.
Is that the Funes Mori incident?
No, that's when Brendan Rodgers got sacked.
Yeah, that was the whole Terreri Henry groping Jamie Carragher.
Terreri Henry.
Terreri.
He's Irish.
It's when he groped Jamie Carragher.
No, but I know, serious. 16 goals a season. That's an incredible goal return. 24 starts for Southampton. Like that's very, considering Southampton's like goal scoring struggles last few seasons, and I believe he's got a couple of goals today, or maybe just one.
I think he got one.
He got one. He got another one today, so he's added to it.
Pretty decent goal, if I do say so myself.
Well, yeah, Tottenham have been Man United.
But like, yeah, I would put Danny Ings as squad player personally.
I find it hard to put on there after a season this season.
Yeah, but he's only had this season.
But he hasn't. No. I mean, he kind of has and he hasn't. He was doing well for Burnley before we bought him.
Neil, what do you think?
For what it's worth, I agree with Paddy. I think Danny Ings is a great little player, to be honest. I honestly think, like, as a striker, you know, most teams would be really happy to have him. I think you know, if you put him in your team, there's a good chance he's going to score you a goal. I know he's had his injury problems and all that, but I really think he's a player who can just pop up and score an important goal.
I do think.
Like, I try and ask you to tell me when he's had a bad season.
There's Liverpool ones.
But they weren't though. He was doing well.
I
can't count injured seasons.
I think that's harsh to call him failures because it was injury blighted. It wasn't because he was awful. He wasn't a Joe Linton.
And they were bad. He got two bad injuries, and he's come back and he's one of the top goal scorers in the league. At a club that typically struggles for goals.
I do think it is harsh to say about Danny Ings having bad seasons at Liverpool when it wasn't his fault. They were ACLs.
I'd put him at first team regular.
In fact, actually,
gotta respect his achievements.
Whilst talking about Danny Ings, I reckon, honestly, he would get ahead of Origi as our reserve striker. I would have had him easily.
No, I wouldn't, because Origi's just one of those players who's like a super sub. He just suits that role perfectly.
No, I think Danny Ings would probably. Obviously, we couldn't keep Danny Ings because it was obvious he wanted to start and everything.
I think he's at the perfect club for him.
Okay, I personally think squad player. We got two squad players and two first team regulars.
We've only got one squad player, Pookie.
No. He's saying between us four what we're voting.
I'd lean more towards first team regular if compared to fighting for squad player.
Yeah, I'm not willing to back down on this one because I'm so impressed with what he's done.
Okay. I'd go first team regular too here, to be honest.
All right. I'll back. I'll begrudgingly back down.
All right.
Yeah.
Your best up. All right. I think now we need to talk about a new player. I'm going to bring up another classic choice of mine with Ashley Barnes.
I did want him. I'd like to point out on record I did not want him here. I wanted big Chris Wood.
It's between him and Chris Wood, and they're both not particularly interesting to talk about. They're just kind of Troy Deeney-like players. Where they're just kind of arseholes to play against.
I reckon if Ashley Barnes was a meal deal, he would be a ham butty with water. I think that's a great comparison.
I like a ham butty with water.
I really don't understand why we've gone for Ashley Barnes over Chris Wood, because Chris Wood scored 11 goals this season.
Well, but I just think, like, when you think Burnley strikers, I think Ashley Barnes is what comes into your head before Chris Wood.
Yeah, but he's the main. Yeah, but the main one this season's Chris Wood.
Honestly, when I think of Burnley strikers, I think it's Sam Folks, and he doesn't even play there anymore.
Let's be honest, right? I think Ashley Barnes and Chris Wood are on pretty much the same level. So
they're both transfer list.
No, I wouldn't put them there. They're not. They're not transfer list.
I said the bar, and I didn't say they're awful.
No, they're not awful. And Ashley Barnes had a good start to the season. And he does a great job for Burnley. Like at any other club, most other clubs, he probably wouldn't be anywhere near as good. But for Burnley, he does a perfect job.
I mean, personally, I think he should be classed more as a centre forward than a striker because of his physicality.
Yeah, 6 goals and 17 starts this season. I think most of them are at the start of the season.
Can I say, I really feel like Ashley Barnes is a player who's improved over his time in the Premier League. Like, I remember, I think it was the first time Burnley came up into the Premier League. Ashley Barnes has been around for a long time, hasn't he? I don't know if it was the first or second time, but I remember him being a player, like, when he came on, like, you kind of knew he wasn't going to score. Like, the most interesting thing about him was that one Austrian under-20 cap that he has. But like, now, I think Ashley Barnes is the kind of player who is actually capable of, like, something spectacular. Like, actually finding a goal and being a bit dangerous. I really think he's improved in the years he's been in the Premier League.
No, definitely, that's a good point. He's one of the most improved players in the Premier League of recent years. And I have been impressed with him this season. And I think he does a good job for Burnley. But is he any higher level than Troy Deeney? That's what I'm thinking.
I have to ask you this right now. What has impressed you about Ashley Barnes this season?
Just his work rate, his ability to hold the ball up, and the job he does for Burnley.
Joe Linton works hard. He's still crap.
Well, he's not.
Fine.
Well, no.
I think he's bench at best, personally.
No, he's just one of those players. He fights for everything, and he's got a half decent goal return this season. Good start to the season. I don't think he's obviously not a squad player, but I don't think he's transfer list.
No, I think he's bench at best, personally.
Yeah, that's a fair.
If we're talking about
I think it's fair.
WhoScored.com does not give him a single strength. They think he has no strengths to his game.
Well, I mean, that's bullshit.
I mean, that's good for them.
Paddy, we've used our one swear.
Oh, no. Bleep it out. Bleep it out.
I mean, that's good for them, really. But Ashley Barnes is one of those rough strikers.
I mean, literally, one of his strengths is strength. but he's just one of those players you wouldn't want to come against. And he fights for everything. And as Neil said, he's one of the most improved players, and you've got to respect that. And, if you're Burnley, you wouldn't transfer list him because he fits them perfectly, and he does a great job for them.
This isn't about Burnley.
It's true.
This is all about Burnley. This is the only reason I accepted this.
We're only talking about Burnley.
it's true, but I think bench at best. You're not going to put him any higher or lower than that.
All right, look, I feel like I've been sufficiently outvoted. Somehow Ashley Barnes has made it to bench at best.
I think you're being harsh there.
And he's Austrian. I don't know where that came from, to be honest with you.
Well, some of us have
Austrian
grandparents.
international.
Some of us have fourth cousins from Ghana,
It's how they get in.
Yeah.
Is that you? Is your fourth cousin from Ghana?
No, I don't know. Of course not.
No.
Oh, please, Paddy, tell us this. Is your fourth cousin from Ghana?
No, absolutely not.
I reckon it is. We need to get Paddy on. Who do you think you are?
But Paddy, have you been receiving emails from a long-lost relative about an inheritance that you've just gained?
Mate, I wish.
No, because I sent them. Shut up, Collins.
All right, go on, Neil. Give us another one. Seeing as me, Paddy, and Mangan have dominated the nominations. Let's let you have another one.
How about Tammy Abraham?
I was waiting for this one because I think this is pretty interesting.
It's interesting. His career history.
Yeah. He made the championship look easy. He went to Swansea in the Prem and really struggled. And with Chelsea, I think there are times when he struggles a bit.
Well, I remember watching him for Swansea thinking, nah, he hasn't got it. But watching him for Chelsea this season, I've been impressed. I've seen some strong finishing ability from a guy who's 22 and he's leading the line for a top club like Chelsea, and he's got a good goal return, 13 goals. And he's got a lot of potential.
To that, when you say he is leading the line, do you think he would have been leading the line had they not got a 2-year transfer ban?
No, he wouldn't.
Like, I think
that's not his fault.
I think this is a case of right time, right place for Tammy Abraham. He's done all right. He has done well.
It's like Marcus Rashford probably wouldn't be a United player right now if they didn't have a load of injuries around that time that gave him the chance. So, but it doesn't matter. The fact is he was given a chance and he's turned up.
I mean, you see his championship record. He played 48 games for Bristol City, scored 26. Aston Villa, he played 40 games, and he also scored 26 goals. Like, it is clear the lad's a goal scorer. He is a really good finisher. There are times, though, when it feels like the Premier League is sometimes, not saying all the time, a step up too big a step for him at times. When I think about that, I think of it's been a couple of times when he's missed like really good chances and he's bottled it basically. He had a 1-on-1 against Liverpool at Stamford Bridge, didn't he? And he missed completely. Like
Abraham has missed 17 big chances, which is just behind Firmino. He's the third highest number of missed big chances.
Yeah. You do have to consider his age, though. You've got to consider his age because with the younger players, that often is the case.
22 is not that young anymore for a Premier League footballer.
When you're leading the line for Chelsea, I think that is young.
I mean, Joe Linton's around 22.
He's leading the line for Newcastle.
We're not giving him that. We are not giving Joe Linton any more airtime. Stop it.
Don't get me wrong, I like Newcastle, but they're not Chelsea at the moment.
I think the important thing to think with Tammy Abraham is the fact that he takes a lot of shots. He's really eager to score a goal. I mean, 2.9 shots per game. Which has led to, yes, having so many big missed chances, but it also has allowed him to go for the amount of goals he has.
I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens next season now they've got Timo Werner.
Well, that's the thing. I think you're not going to see Abraham at Chelsea for much longer because...
You think he's going to leave?
Yeah, because he's not going to play ahead of Werner. And I think he's got too much potential to just stick around and be a backup player for the rest of his career.
Werner's very versatile. He plays quite a lot on the wing in the Bundesliga. I don't think he's being bought to do that for Chelsea, though. Look, I think with Tammy Abraham, he's not quite there yet to be first team regular.
Yeah, but you can see the potential.
Yeah,
which is why I'd put him squad player.
I think he's definitely squad player.
Yeah, I couldn't put him first team regular because of his inconsistencies and his sort of conversion rate is not good enough. But at the same time, he does have a good amount of goals for Chelsea this season. He's led the line. He's done a decent job for his age.
His shots on target ratio is not very good as well. He's taken 73 shots on the Prem, 33 on target.
Yeah, no, I would agree squad player.
Yeah, I think I would say that as well. I think... Okay, actually, Paddy, answer me this question. You say he's not going to be there for much longer. Do you reckon he's going to stay in the Prem?
I could possibly. You could see maybe Harry Kane going somewhere and then Tammy Abraham replacing maybe. Something like that. That's not too far fetched, I'd say.
Oh, it's interesting. I think that's quite up his street, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Probably literally. They're both in London.
Oh my God!
I look forward to 60 million being spent on Tammy Abraham by Everton,
and him turning into Dennis Strachelese.
Yeah, because you know what, he'll score. He'll go like 3 games in a row scoring a goal, and then he'll tear his knee.
Actually, I think we should stop talking about Strachelese. We've mentioned him 3 times now. And
this is way too many Strachelese references.
Too much.
That's because he's world class. Anyway, so yeah, Tammy Abraham is squad player.
I think we need to get Wesley out of the way.
Naturalist.
Yeah, let's just do that. It's kind of Joe Linton kind of.
It's
similar
really
kind of story.
He just made me laugh because he scored against Everton when Jack Grealish he'd never won a Premier League game before, and I was like, that's so Everton.
Mate, 2 of the strikers we've got on the transfer list have scored against Everton.
Yeah,
I mean, it says a lot about Everton. I think we put Everton in the transfer list as well.
Just in general.
Yeah.
Bill Kenwright's in the mud.
Farhad Mashiri, transfer list, mate. Sell the club.
But Wesley, he had glimpses, and that is about all I can say.
That's.
I think that's being generous.
That is generous. I wouldn't go far further than that. The one thing to say, he didn't have as much expectations on him than maybe Joe Linton, but.
I mean, you say that, but he still had a £22 million buy.
Yeah.
Like he did decent at Bruges, which is not really saying much.
Yeah, I mean, and Lukaku was like decent at Anderlecht, but he was 16 at the time.
Yeah, let's just put him in transfer list and move on.
I suppose, but possibly, Villa's looking to emulate the signing of Benteke, right, from the Belgian league.
Yeah.
The only thing I really caught about Wesley is, only at the start of his career, there's like a lot of accusations, Villa career, I should specify, that, he was struggling to lead the line, lots of poor passing, poor decision making, struggling to like bring other people into the game to create chances, which to be fair, yeah, sounds a lot like, the problems we might have had with Joe Linton. But despite all that, until he got injured near the new year, he was on a run of 4 goals in 6 games, which, might have suggested a turnaround.
I will say, Wesley's tore his knee, and he, back in January, December, was it?
Something like that, yeah.
And he's still the second top goal scorer for Villa.
I mean, that says a lot more about Villa than really about Wesley. I think it is quite interesting you brought up Belgian leagues and going to Villa, because Benteke, Wesley, and then Samata in January. Like, it is a clear link. They see a nice little flair player, and he didn't even do that great in Bruges, to be honest with you. 130 goals, 38 games. Like,
what?
Yeah.
Way around.
Whoa, that's an amazing record. Flipping hell. Like 4 goals a game.
Oh, wow. I just realised, yeah. Jesus.
Well, why didn't we sign him?
Because we ended up with Benteke instead for a bit.
Yeah.
130 games, 38 goals. That sounds a lot better. We were getting into Pele numbers there.
Yeah, let's just put him in transfer list, but say, you know what, he may improve.
Hopefully. For God's sake.
For Villa's sake.
Right. I want to do the big topic here. This one's going to cause a lot of controversy, possibly. I want to go Calvert-Lewin.
I feel like we have to leave Calvert-Lewin for last, just because
I want to leave Rashford for last.
I want to
leave Rashford for last.
I was really hoping that we could keep this one as late as possible.
No, I think Calvert-Lewin's a good one to go with now. And I'd say transfer list.
You're wrong.
I'm joking.
I asked for 7 tiers because I wanted to put Calvert-Lewin twice on there.
No, it's interesting though. Before this season, I actually generally would have said transfer list because I saw very little in him. I saw a good athlete, but not a great footballer.
I saw a Runa Kone.
But now I'm starting to see a good striker, which I've got to give him credit for.
Calvert-Lewin has 13 goals this season for a team that has scored 37. So he's a good attacker for a team that is, compared to quite a lot, scoring goals. He's also leading the league in aerial duels. So he's not just someone who can score a goal. He's able to lead the line, and he's formed a clinical partnership with Richarlison. I think you put him squad player, and he has the potential to end up in first team regular.
Oh, thank God. I had a mini heart attack there. I thought you were going to put him as first team regular immediately.
You're not. I just know I'm not winning that battle, even though I think first team regular. He scored as many goals as Tammy Abraham.
Yeah, I was just about to say he's kind of in a similar sort of bracket to Tammy Abraham. I think Tammy Abraham's a bit better, but I think he is sort of in that similar bracket this season.
Neil, you're about as diehard an Everton fan as anyone. What do you think?
I think the thing with Calvert-Lewin, like over the past few seasons, has always been. I feel like Paddy said, he's clearly an excellent athlete. Like, he's got an excellent jump. He's pacey. He even has a decent bit of technical ability and vision. Like, if you pay attention to him, you might see. I remember once he used to back heel against Man City to get Rooney in to score a goal. But the thing that's always let Dominic Calvert-Lewin down was his finishing. But this season, I think having been paired up front with Richarlison, he's finally got to the point where he has the finishing ability of someone who's a good striker. And with the formation change, then that he's really thriving in it. Because, especially with his head, he's actually becoming a very dangerous player.
I think he really suits the 2 up front system. I think that's really helping him.
I think like similar to Tammy Abraham, he still has a long way to go towards being an actual clinical finisher. 14 big chances missed this season. It's only 3 less than Tammy Abraham, and also he's got less than half of his shots on target, which I just feel as a striker you got to be at least hitting the keeper. Although admittedly block shots don't count as shots on target, and I don't know how many of them are blocked.
I mean, I think squad player is probably the best place for the lads.
I think it's fair.
I think.
I don't think I could put him anywhere else and live with myself.
Yeah, basically.
Like, I think definition of squad player really at the moment, with the potential to be better.
It would be interesting to see where he is in a few years, wouldn't it?
Yeah, very.
I am probably most excited for him about how our season will end. Like Richarlison, I sort of just think, oh yeah, he's going to become better. With Calvert-Lewin, it's sort of a case of does he hit the next step?
Yeah, he's one of those players. He does. When I watch him, he doesn't blow me away. I don't see a lot in him, but there obviously must be something because he's been very effective this season.
A lot of his goals are lucky. I will admit that.
But
I mean,
that's kind of what being a striker is sometimes. It's about scoring in any way. So yeah, put him squad player. Let's move on to Callum Wilson because I want to finish with Rashford.
Callum Wilson's a tough one. I think he's a tough.
Really came to light in the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, he did.
Linked with a big move to Chelsea as well at one point.
Got injured a lot. Got injured quite badly though, didn't he?
But come back from that very well.
He does. He's gotten badly injured like the last 2 seasons, hasn't he?
I can't remember. I know he got that like the first season of the Premier League. He started the season really well. Everyone was thinking this could be a good player, and then he got injured.
Like I honestly don't know with this guy. My gut says bench at best.
Whoa! No way.
He has only scored 8 goals this season, Paddy.
No, I could not put him in bench at best. He's a talented striker.
He is, and let's be honest, if we're talking right, all of the strikers we're talking about are talented in their own way. But
he is a good finisher, and he's good pace, good finisher, and I think he could at a bigger club he could do even better numbers.
However, like Colin said, he scored 8 goals this season. Bournemouth are currently 8.
Scored on his England debut as well.
And that was his only goal for England.
It was his only game.
David Nugent.
Well, that's not a great point, but it's a point.
I will say, Callum Wilson has been a starting striker for Bournemouth since they came up, or has at least established himself recently. In his first season, he played 17 games. He scored 5 goals. He then played 24 and scored 6. Not even played 26. He scored 28 and scored 8. He then last season played 30, scored 14, and this season he's only got 8. So he's cracked 10 goals once.
And you have to look at it this way, Paddy. Bournemouth are currently 18th. He's clearly not doing enough in terms of.
Did he get enough service? Only 1.54 shots per game. That shows that he's not getting a lot of service at all. That's very low.
It's worth saying, Bournemouth have really, they lost David Brooks, didn't they? And
David Brooks. They are now going to go into the rest of the Premier League without Ryan Fraser as well.
I think personally, I think Wilson's a good player. I think one thing you haven't covered is he kind of has that thing that good strikers tend to have in his positional sense and his intelligence in front of goal. I think he's actually one of those strikers who always kind of ends up in the right place. a bit like, that was kind of one of the good things I said about Ings, right? Wilson, I think, is similar. He has that striker's essence of being awful.
I think you guys have forgotten the fact that his best season was last season, and Ryan Fraser had one of the best creative seasons in Premier League history last season, with 28 big chances created and 14 assists. Callum Wilson's best season has coincided with that. And
I don't want to judge everything on stats, though. When I watch him, I think this is a bloody good striker.
Yeah.
Like, this guy could do more at a bigger club.
But he can't even prove that he can do something at Bournemouth.
But he has done something.
Well, he's proven that his 8 goals can get him to 18th.
That's hard. I think he'd been harsh.
Have Bournemouth improved? Have Bournemouth actually properly improved since they came into the Prem?
I think they've gotten worse eventually as they've gone on.
This is not about Bournemouth. It's not just about Callum Wilson.
Yeah, but Callum Wilson is Bournemouth.
Right.
He's the whole club. He's not really the whole club.
No, he's the main person I think of when I think Bournemouth.
But that's because of his quality.
Yeah, I agree.
No,
Like, how would you compare Callum Wilson to Calvert-Lewin?
I think Calvert-Lewin's better.
I disagree.
And that's the end. And that's the end of the discussion, really.
I think Callum Wilson's better, but I would put him on the squad player level.
He's bench at best.
Well, let's vote it out. I'm saying squad player.
I'm saying bench at best.
Neil?
I would have him as a squad player.
Oh, it's horrible, this.
I'm not willing to back down.
I'm not willing to back down on
Oh, God.
Callum Wilson is one of the most overrated players in English football.
Wow. Anyone willing to back down?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a back seat along with Neil and watch you hash it out.
I'm not hashing this out.
I'm
Damn right you will, because I'm recording this. It's my tier list that they're watching.
Right. I'm saying squad player. That I'm not backing down from that, but I think he's better than Calvert-Lewin.
In what way?
I just think he's better than Calvert-Lewin.
What aspect of Callum Wilson is better than Calvert-Lewin?
I think he's a better finisher.
But has 8 goals.
Playing for a West club.
Playing for
a West club. Less creative club.
Less creative club. Have you seen some of the players that Everton have trying to create?
Yeah, but you're still better than Bournemouth. And Callum Wilson's playing up front all on his own.
He has Josh King.
Oh yeah, no, sometimes, but
I think look, Callum Wilson's also missed 9 big chances as well. So he's also someone who's finishing. You're saying is so much better, and there's aspects there where he's not the greatest at times.
That's quite a lot less, though, than some of the other players we've covered. 9.
Yeah, but he's also only had 43 shots compared to some of the other players we've brought up. Tammy Abraham had 73,
but that shows how little service he's getting as well.
Mm.
Yeah,
I think we're going to be stuck here all day unless we come to some conclusion. We don't want this podcast to be stuck in a never-ending loop of Callum Wilson.
Right.
Last season, he scored 14 goals and had Ryan Fraser doing one of the greatest creative seasons of all time, and he missed 21 big chances.
Right, lads, I've got in my hand a coin.
Oh,
I'm
not
sit down on this for a coin flip.
I think that's the only way we're going to settle this right now.
What we can settle this is I'm putting him at bench at best.
Well, I mean that's a bit rude. That
it's rude for you to think that he's better than that.
But the thing is, you're in charge of this tier list, so I can't. There's nothing really I can do. So honestly, you win. Mainly because I can't win. Let's just move on to Rashford.
Good player.
Mr. School Dinners himself.
Yeah, good player, better man. I'll just say.
Now, my respect for him has gone up so much. Like,
that's not even insulting. Saying good player, better man. He's a top quality man.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that's the point. He's
Yeah.
a great man.
Oh yeah, I know.
Like he didn't have to do what he did
No,
Like-
he's
at all. Like he's really
Obviously-
stuck to his word, saying he was going to help out those, in his former position.
like we could get into a good hour-long conversation about why the government's a sack of turds.
If you see the letter he wrote, it's two bloody pages long. I don't know if he got someone else to do it for him, but this is a footballer. He doesn't have to be doing this stuff at all.
When you've got someone like Katie Hopkins putting you down, you know you're doing a good job.
Yeah, exactly. But let's talk about him as a footballer. I really, really rate him. Yeah, he's one of my favourite players on this list, which pains me to say. But I really like him as a footballer.
No, he's a really good. He's probably gonna end up being a legend at United, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't see him leaving, could you?
I don't at all. I see him.
I just think he needs to become that main striker, though. He just needs to become that guy, the main guy.
Yeah, that's sort of the thing, isn't it? Because he's actually started 17 of his games at left wing.
Yeah, I was a bit shocked when you put him as
But
a
I think,
striker, but then
but they put him there because he's so good at running at people.
Yeah.
He's great on one-on-ones, but I think he needs to become that main striker guy because he's good enough to be. He's great finisher, great pace. He's just so talented for his age.
It's just
Is it worth a comparison? Just thinking. Because you got to think about, in the last few decades, what United would have had Ibrahimovic, Van Persie, Van Nistelrooy. Is Rashford going to get to that level? Or perhaps the more accurate comparison is someone like Wayne Rooney, because he joined Man United at a very young age.
Good point, but it's the same as like Man United have to get to that level as well. Rooney's been playing in like the best Man United side ever. Rashford's not got a lot to work with at the moment in terms of where Man United are as a team. If Man United trajectory goes up with Rashford, then he could be a star, like a world-class player.
I very much agree. I think from the moment he made his debut, we thought this is going to be a special talent. He did dip a bit. But fair play to him, he's brought it right back.
Yeah, I mean, he's still only 22. He's got 14 goals this season in 22 games for a struggling team.
5. See, that's my point. This is my main gripe. 14 goals is a good amount. I mean, it's one more than Calvert-Lewin, and is it the same or just underneath Tammy Abraham?
Tammy Abraham had...
Tammy Abraham has 15 in all comps.
15. Okay.
Well, yeah, that was in all competitions, though, not just Premier League.
Not Prem.
I think Abraham had 13.
Right. Okay. So there you go. But 5 of Rashford's are from pens.
But also, 12 goals in 17 appearances were playing left wing. A lot of these guys' goal scoring records are purely based on striker performances. This guy's played 17 games at left wing. And he's only got 2 goals when he's played as a striker. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But I think if he was played at striker more, you'd see good numbers from this guy.
Versatility is great in itself, isn't it? A player who can the entirety of the front line.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, versatility. Yeah, honestly, I'd put him first team regular.
I think I'd agree with you.
I'd want him as in my team as first team regular.
And I, like I said, I think this man will be a legend, like pretty soon. I just don't see him leaving United at all. As well,
He's already secured that status for his work off the pitch.
Seems conclusive, Neil.
I think it's very fair to put him at that level. I think, whether it'll be world class, well, that's still to be proven. But for now, yeah, he's a very good player. Frightening pace.
Brilliant one-on-ones. Good finisher, like so mature for his age.
I do think out of the 5 4 people we have in first team regular. He's probably the one closest to squad player.
No, I disagree. I think Danny Ings is closer to squad player than Rashford.
Yeah.
Good players though.
But I think Rashford has the most chance of those players of getting to world class status. Eventually.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah. So that's everyone, isn't it?
I think,
there
yeah.
we go.
Is that anyone else? Anyone from one?
That's the conclusive list, and it's completely right, apart from Callum Wilson.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, it's completely 100% right. My
So it's
one.
going to turn into
No.
This is like when mum and dad are fighting. It's
All right, can we settle this? Can we put Callum Wilson like on the line between squad player and bench at best?
No, because he's on the squad player bench at best and transfer list.
I've still got the coin if anyone wants.
No. Look, I will say bench at best of all the options. Yeah, in terms of like a complete, it's probably Callum Wilson.
Right, I'll give you this. He's a bench at best 0.5. There you go.
This is a mess. That's
conclusive.
This is not.
A bench at best 0.5. That's what I'd say.
I'm gonna have to. There we go, boys. We've got 6 tiers this time.
And that's the end note.
Right, this has been great, guys. This is our ultimate list for the tiers. We want to thank all of us for putting in the effort for this, especially. And especially Paddy and Collins for creating an absolute world war over Callum Wilson.
To be honest, it could get worse than that in future podcasts.
I think it might do. I think this is just the beginning. This is scratching the surface.
That was a light battle.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Collins has won it by kind of default, but he hasn't won the war.
At the end of the day, just wait until we get into my opinions on Tim Krul.
Tim Krul. Yeah. I'm sure everyone's looking forward to that podcast.
I cannot wait.
Premier League goalkeepers. We're gonna have to do it.
I think that'll be over by the time.
Yeah, we will have to do it eventually. Hopefully Norwich have a new keeper by then. Oh, they'll be relegated by the time we do that.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest with ourselves.
I'm sorry, Norwich, but I like you, but
I don't.
Yeah. To be fair, next time we go over Premier League strikers, if we try and do this for next season as well, Callum Wilson won't be there to talk about because he'll be in the Championship and no one will want to sign him because he's rubbish.
I didn't know Chelsea got relegated.
Oh no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, but anyway, remember to like and subscribe to this. Give us your suggestions because we had a few suggestions in the first episode that we thinking about doing like over the coming weeks. But from all of us, I've been Mangan along with Collins.
Callum Wilson's rubbish.
Neil.
Bye.
And Patrick.
Bye.
And this has been the tier list. Thanks for listening.